Ted is in Reading. Ted, what would you like to say?
Morning, James.
Hello.
I voted Leave.
Yes.
Do I regret it? Yes. Am I doing everything in my power to try to stop it? Yeah, probably not everything, but pretty close to.
Sure.
And I think the swing to the right, I think the right has always been there. But it's always been a minority. I don't believe Britain's ever voted in a far-right government. And there's a reason for that. Is generally we're sensible. We lose our senses every now and again, and this seems to be one of them. But this rhetoric from the right, the extreme right, needs to be stopped and needs to be challenged.
How do we do that? And I think part of the reason perhaps why the challenge is proving a little bit slower out of the traps than the offence is partly linked to what you just said. It's this sort of sense, there's a book, isn't there? It was set in America, but it's called It Couldn't Happen Here. And I think that we do have that sort of slightly complacent sense that the stuff we read about and the rise... Look at this list. Think of this list, Ted, which David Allen Green has put up on Twitter today, a brilliant legal and indeed Brexit commentator. Those who do not think the rising threats of political violence... I will put on my khaki and pick up a rifle or whatever, strident nationalism, attempts to bypass parliamentary institutions, and increasing nastiness towards minorities. If you think that these don't indicate the beginning of a turn towards fascism, then ask yourself what would? What else do you need to see in order to recognise or to hear the echoes? It doesn't mean that we're on rails towards a fascistic future, but if you're warning that seems to be the direction of travel, then political violence being threatened in public, strident nationalism, attempts to bypass parliamentary institutions, increasing nastiness, for want of a stronger word, towards minorities. What else are they waiting for, Ted?
Well, it goes back to the problem of an echo chamber. They're all shouting at each other and they're all getting more and more angry, and they think that there's no one opposing them because people in opposing views are sitting in their own echo chambers.
Yes, that could be true. Although, again, this echo chamber phrase is up there with I know you are, but what am I? I get accused of being in an echo chamber, and I spend 3 hours every single day inviting calls and taking calls from people who disagree with me. But that's the thing that people like us don't understand, is that we still feel some sort of residual loyalty to the truth. You know, so if you say something that's not true, you admit it. If you make a mistake, you own up. You don't kind of embark upon a terrible, desperate attempt to wriggle off the hook. And yet, when you're dealing with people who lie as easily as they breathe, our tactics are I think, I worry sometimes they're a bit rubbish.
I'd like to agree with you that we all admit to making a mistake as soon as we realise we've made it.
Not as soon, but eventually in some cases.
We double down and
yes.
We double down in our lives and propagate stuff that you even know is worse. But
and that gets, of course, you're invited to do that by the people who say that anyone who's pointing out your error or anyone who is just questioning whether you still hold true to something that has been shown not to be true is sneering at you or insulting you or condescending towards you. It's so powerful, this stuff. I feel that we're making progress in unpicking it today. So the key platforms would be, if you criticise Jacob Rees-Mogg for accepting an invitation, having been warned about their history, accepting an invitation from a group that thinks Doreen Lawrence should be repatriated, if I criticise him and saying that kind of conduct has no place in public life, then someone whispers in your ear that I'm insulting you because you voted to leave the European Union. If I say Boris Johnson his own employers have attempted to fend off a complaint about basic dishonesty in his column, basic inaccuracy, by claiming that he's not supposed to be taken seriously. He's a sort of comedy polemicist. If I point that out and say, how can you be following someone who is described as a comedy polemicist by his own employers? How can you be following him to the cliff edge? Then apparently I'm insulting you.